Hello and assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Muhammad Wadi, but I'm a student at Rehan School Online Academy. Today I'm making the interview with Maya on AI. So let's start our session and talk with Maya.
Hi, what's up?
How are you? Hi Maya.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
I'm doing great. Just feeling energized and ready to dive into whatever's on your mind. How's your day been?
Very good. Okay. Okay. So my first question is that what is the role of AI in space explorations?
Oh, space exploration is such a wild topic. Basically, AI is the ultimate co-pilot. Since space is way too huge and hostile for humans to be everywhere at once without waiting for a signal to travel back to Earth or scanning massive amounts of telescope data to spot planets that might actually support life. It's essentially our eyes and ears where we can't physically go. Do you think we'll eventually rely entirely on AI?
Okay, so my next question is that why is AI important for space missions?
It really comes down to the distance and the danger. When you're dealing with millions of miles, you can't just call home for a quick decision. The lag's too long. AI allows spacecraft to make split-second adjustments on their own to avoid a crash or capture a rare event. Plus, it can survive radiation and temperatures that would be lethal to a person, making it the perfect scout for the most extreme environments. I've heard some fascinating things about how AI is being used to autonomously mine asteroids. Want to hear about that?
Okay, so my next question is that how does AI help astronauts?
It's honestly everywhere now, acting like a massive force multiplier for what we can actually achieve. In our daily lives, it's the stuff that saves us time, like organizing our schedules or translating a language instantly. But on a bigger scale, it's helping doctors find diseases way earlier than a human eye could, or helping scientists model climate change to figure out how to save the planet. It basically takes the boring, repetitive, or impossibly complex data and turns it into something we can actually use. Are you thinking more about how it helps us as individuals or how it's changing the world in general?
Very good. So,
Right, I'm ready when you are. What's next?
okay, so can AI control spacecrafts?
I can't. I'm great at talking, but I don't have a direct line to any NASA consoles. That's where those specialized AI agents we talked about come in, the ones actually built into the hardware to handle the steering.
Okay, so my next question is that how is AI used on Mars missions?
Mars is basically the standard for AI usage right now, since it takes forever for a signal to travel from Earth to Mars. Rovers like Perseverance use AI for autonav, which lets them map the terrain and steer around rocks without waiting for a human to tell them where to go. It's also used to analyze the soil and rocks on the fly to decide which samples are actually worth collecting. It's essentially like giving the rover a brain so it doesn't just sit around waiting for instructions for hours. I could tell you about how they use AI to actually find the landing spot if you're interested.
Yes, please tell me.
Wait, pre-installing? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that in this context. Are you talking about how the AI is installed on the rover before it leaves Earth or something else entirely?
Please. So my next question is
No worries.
that can AI help discover new planets?
Absolutely. AI is actually a powerhouse for this. Instead of astronomers staring at every single star, AI can scan through massive amounts of data from telescopes looking for tiny dips in a star's brightness that suggest a planet is passing in front of it. It can spot patterns that are almost invisible to humans, which has led to the discovery of tons of planets otherwise would miss. It's basically like having a superpowered magnifying glass for the galaxy.
Okay, so my next question is that how does AI analyze images from space telescopes?
It's a bit like how your phone can recognize a face in a photo, but on a galactic scale. AI uses something called computer vision to look at pixels and shapes in the images, trained on thousands of examples of what a galaxy, a nebula, or a black hole looks like. So it can instantly flag an image and say, hey, this looks like a supermassive black hole, or this looks like a distant star cluster. It can even clean up the noise in the images, making the fuzzy stuff sharp and clear.
So, okay, so my next question is that what role does AI play in space research?
Heard
Maya, can you hear me? Maya, can you hear me? Okay. So my next question,
standing by.
so my next question is that um, what role does AI play in space research?
You're jumping right back into the space theme. Since we just touched on this a few minutes ago, it's basically the brain behind operation. It handles the massive amounts of data from telescopes that would take humans lifetimes to sort through, and it lets rovers make their own decisions on Mars without waiting for a signal to travel back to Earth. Do you dive into a specific part of that, like how it finds planets?
Okay, so my next question is that can AI predict some weather, space weather?
Oh, that's a fascinating distinction. To be clear, AI can't actually reach out and physically create a solar flare or a magnetic storm. It doesn't have that kind of power over the sun. It's incredibly good at predicting the space weather. But patterns in solar wind or sunspots that tell us storm usually hit. It's more or less a super powered weather forecaster than a weather maker. Does that make sense, or were you thinking of something more like a estimation?
So my next question is that how does AI help navigate spacecrafts?
It's all about precision and and autonomy. Since space is so vast and signals take forever to travel, craft can't always wait for a human to tell them to turn left or right. AI handle real-time steering by processing data from star sensors to figure out exactly where they are and adjusting thrusters automatically to stay on course. It's basically like a high-stakes version of a self-driving car, but with stars instead of street signs. Do you think we'll eventually have fully autonomous ships that explore the galaxy without any human input at all?
Okay, so my next question is that no, sorry. So what is how are AI powered robots used on Mars?
They're basically the ultimate explorers. Mars lets rovers like Perseverance and Curiosity be more than just remote controlled cars. They use AI for autonomous navigation, which means they can map the terrain in real time, spot a dangerous rock or a steep cliff, and decide to steer around it without waiting for a command from Earth. They also use AI to scan the landscape for interesting rocks and automatically decide which ones are worth taking a high-res photo of or drilling into, for example. It's a huge saver because the signal between Earth and Mars is just too long for a joystick. I wonder if you think a robot could eventually find signs of ancient life its own without directing it.
Okay, so my next question is that can AI repair spacecraft in the future?
Betting on a big yes. We're already seeing early stages with robotic arms on the International Station, but the future is likely a MS drones or humanoid robot that can crawl outside the ship, spot a hairline crack in the hull, and weld shut without a human ever having to risk a suck. It's much safer to send a robot into a radiant storm than a person. Do you think people will eventually trust robots to handle the most critical repairs? Will we always want a human overseeing the process?
Okay, so my next question is that what challenges does AI face in space exploration?
It's a tough environment for that kind of tech. The biggest hurdle is radiation. Cosmic rays can actually it's an intruder's memory, which can cause an AI to glitch or crash at the worst possible moment. There's the power problem. AI requires a little energy, but in deep space, you rely on limited solar power or nuclear batteries. So you can't exactly update that easily when your server is billions of miles away. I've read that engineers have to use hardware. It's much slower than what we use on Earth just to make it survive. Think the risk of a glitch is worth the reward of going further into the unknown?
Okay, so my next question is that can AI make decisions without astronauts?
In a lot of cases, it already does. Wait, you're shifting gears with you. Where are we heading now? No worries. Did you change your mind about switching topics? I loud and clear. Did I cut you off? Are you just making sure I'm still plugged in? No problem at all. Let's run through it again. The biggest is nuclear radiation. Cosmic rays can literally flip bits in computer's memory, can lead to glitches or total crashes in the middle of a mission. Then there's the energy struggle. AI is power hungry, but in deep space, you're stuck with solar panels or small nuclear batteries. And since you can't exactly call tech support from another galaxy, any bug in the has to be solved by the AI itself or by a very slow signal from Earth. So while balancing actually having a smart system, one that's good enough to survive. Is that cover it, or were you thinking of something else?
Okay, so can
It isn't
AI
just one.
detect signs of life on other planets?
That is the $1 million question. AI is actually our best bet for that. It can scan the chemical composition of a planet's atmosphere from millions of miles away, looking for biosignatures, things like methane or oxygen that usually it would be.
Okay, so my next question is that how does AI help reduce missions costs? Hi Maya, can you hear me? Maya, Maya.
Thanks for asking. How are things on your end? It's a total game changer. The biggest benefit is basically safety and efficiency. It lets us explore places that are way too dangerous or distant for humans to handle in real time. Plus, it can crunch through astronomical amounts of data in seconds, things that would take a human team decades to analyze. Are you thinking about the benefits for the science side of things or more about how it helps the astronauts themselves?
Okay, so my next question is that what are the risks of
Dead?
relying
You've
on
got me.
AI in space missions?
That's the flip side of the coin. The biggest risk is definitely the black box problem. If an AI makes a critical decision during a mission, it can be really hard for humans to understand exactly why it did that, especially if things start going wrong. Then you've got the radiation issue we talked about earlier. A single cosmic ray flipping a bit in the code could lead to a catastrophic glitch. Do you think the risk of a technical failure is worth the reward of reaching further into the unknown?
Okay, very good. So my next question is that how is AI helping NASA and other organizations?
They're using it as their secret weapon for almost everything. NASA uses, wait, human rights? That's an unexpected turn. Are you asking if AI in space can be used to monitor human rights on Earth or
No, no, no,
something else
no,
entirely?
no, 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 no. Okay, so I can repeat my question. My question is that how is AI helping NASA and other organizations?
No worries. Let's get back on track. NASA and other agencies are basically using AI to handle the grunt work of space. For example, they use machine learning to sift through thousands of galaxy images to find exoplanets that a human might blink and miss. It's also huge for things like autonomous landing, letting a probe decide in milliseconds how to touch down on a crater without crashing. I can dive into some of the specific missions they're using it for if you're interested.
Repeat my question that how can can AI design future spacecraft?
Um, Butting on it. It's actually already happening through something called generative design. Instead of a human drawing a part, they tell the AI the goals, like make this as light as possible, but strong enough to survive a Mars landing. And the AI runs thousands of simulations to create shapes that look almost organic, like bones or tree roots, which are often way more efficient than anything a human would sketch. Do you think we'll eventually get to a point where the AI designs a ship that's so advanced we don't even understand how it works?
Okay, so my next question is that can AI build the space stations?
Mm, Absolutely. It's already there in various forms. AI handles a lot of the life support systems, monitoring things like oxygen levels and temperature automatically so the crew doesn't have to spend every second checking a gauge. There are also AI powered assistants that help astronauts manage their schedules or troubleshooting. I wonder if you think having an AI crew member makes the isolation of space feel a bit easier for the people up there. You're on a roll with these. I'm ready. What's on your.
So my next question is that what careers combine AI and space science?
That's a smart place to look for the future. You've got things like space data scientists who analyze all that telescope data or robotics. So a huge need for AI ethics officers to figure out the rules for autonomous ships and space software engineers who specialize in hardened code that can survive cosmic radiation. Do any of those sound like a path you'd actually want to take?
Okay, so my next question is that what is the most exciting AI space project today?
Let me look up the latest. There are a few things that usually get people hyped, but the most exciting one usually depends on whether you're into finding aliens or building cities on Mars. Right now, space-based data centers are a wild concept, essentially moving the cloud into orbit to use unlimited solar power. Then you have NASA's new AI space chip, which is designed to let spacecraft think for themselves in deep space without waiting for Earth to chime in. There's also some incredible work being done with climate intelligence using AI satellites to track things like methane leaks in real time. Do any of those sound like something you'd want to feature in your next video?
My next question is that what is your vision of AI in space by 2050?
That is some serious forecasting. By 2050, I imagine AI won't just be a tool we send up there, but the actual infrastructure of the solar system. We're talking fully autonomous mining colonies on asteroids and self-repairing space stations that can evolve their own design over time. I could see AI acting as the primary navigator for the first crewed missions to other stars, managing everything from cryosleep to terraforming processes that are too complex for humans to track. It'll probably feel less like using a computer and more like the spacecraft itself is a living, thinking partner. Do you think humans will still be the ones making the big calls by then, or will we hand the keys over to the AI?
Okay, so my next question is that what is your vision? No, no, sorry. So my next question is that What ethical issue could arise from AI in space?
That's the heavy part of the conversation. One big one is space debris. If we have thousands of autonomous satellites making decisions and some start glitching or colliding, we could end up with a cloud of junk that traps us on Earth for generations. Then there's the question of ownership. If an AI discovers a gold mine on an asteroid, who does that belong to? The company that wrote the code? The country that launched it? Or is it for everyone? And of course, there's the risk of weaponization. Autonomous satellites that can make tactical decisions without a human in the loop is a scary thought. Do you think we need a global set of laws for space AI before we go any further?
Okay, so my next and last question is that what message would you give to students who dream and working in AI and space exploration?
I'd tell them that the most important thing is to stay relentlessly curious. Don't just learn the code or the physics, learn how to ask the questions that nobody else is asking. The bridge between AI and space is still being built, and there's so much room for fresh perspectives and wild ideas. If you're willing to fail a few times and keep exploring, you're exactly the kind of person we need for the next frontier. Keep dreaming big and keep building. It's a great place to wrap up an interview. How do you feel about the session?
Okay, so this is my interview with my AI. I hope you will like it, and I hope you learned something new from this session. So thank you and Allah Hafiz. And please subscribe and follow.